Gerry Martin in Disney class. Matagmi Shkoday on the Donjim Makwa Totem, Muskiki and the Bawagan. Hello, my English name is Gerry Martin, and I'm going to share a little teaching today about springtime. Zigwan, what we call it in Ojibway, Nishinabim. This is for a teaching for the kids as well as the families and anybody else that's interested in it. And I'm going to touch on three things. The season, Zigwan, if you know the medicine wheel, that is where we begin in the east with Zigwan, the springtime, and the renewal of life and the easing of winter. And unlike modern men and other scientific humans that say springtime comes on the 21st of March, with us it isn't that exacting. It's more like we look for signs. And as you can see, today is a very nice sunny day, which is good, and we can feel the warmth of the sun, which is good. And the other things that we look for to make sure that spring is here is we look at of course, the ice and the snow starts to melt and go away. The sun, we can tell that the sun is getting warmer, and it melts the cold, the ice and snow and the frozen ground, and that's helpful. And then what we also like to see is when the ducks and geese come back, and we look out and to the south and we look for flocks of ducks and geese, and here in the north, that's a sure sign that spring is coming, Zigwan. And that's always a good thing, because eating ducks and geese is part of our menu, fresh meat. We've been eating deer or moose or caribou, also the winter rabbits and other things that we eat in the wintertime. Now, the other thing that we like to look at, some people like that, they call them pussy willows. That's a bud from the willow tree. And we like to see that the buds on the limbs, you can see the swelling, and once the bud has broken open, then the leaves start to come out. We say that's good. And then we also look at the bushes, the same thing. And all of the plant life slowly starts to wake up. The other thing that we look for is the animals that sleep through the winter, that hibernate, like chipmunks and bears and other animals that sleep all through the winter in the ground, and then they slowly wake up and come out, and they wake up more and they walk around, they hunt, they do their thing. Springtime is a time of renewal, so we also expect to see animals pairing up and then making offspring, puppies, kittens, little birds, fish, little frogs, all kinds of things. So the earth wakes up, and so do the animals that sleep on it. So this is part of our renewal process, and we give thanks to that. We always have to give thanks to it. So we offer what we call a spirit plate, as you can see. This one's on birch bark, which is fine. And we put a little bit of our food that we have when we have feasts, a little bit of everything on there, and a bit of tobacco to show our respect and give thanks. And this will be put outside in a clean spot outside in the forest or in the fields, but somewhere where the animals can get at it. And usually it's the birds that come in first and they eat it. And we believe that the spirits, the ancestors, grandmothers, grandfathers' spirits, come into the bodies of these birds and animals, lesser beings, and they taste a little bit of the food each to remember what it was like to be in this world, our physical world, and eating all of our foods and giving thanks to the Creator and to Mother Earth for all these things. So if you see one in the forest, don't mess with it, just leave it alone. It's not there for you, it's for the spirits. Okay? If you want to learn more, I'm going to continue later about this one, Mishomis book. Okay? I just want to share with you from this book, Mishomis book, which is a good booklet, keeper of knowledge in there and things. And for today's lesson on springtime and feast, I booked at that, and also experience from going to feasts during different times of the year in different places. But you can see that we have a tree with 4 seasons and what is going on. The seasons are nothing new to Anishinaabe people. We have our own words and we have our own signs that tell us when the season has changed. That's why I resist somewhat about thinking like modern man says spring is March 21st, and yet for those of us that live up here in Thunder Bay in the north, 21st of March is not necessarily spring. We could be minus 25 or 3 feet of snow. But we acknowledge the 4 seasons, and it's a big part of our life, our whole life. Our calendar with the 13 moons and 28 days is based on the turtle, and his the calendar is on his shell, and what happens in each month, each moon, and within that also the seasons, how they influence that. So we shouldn't forget our calendar, nor the name of the 4 seasons and what is expected. That each time we have a change of season, we have a little feast. We offer that to the spirits and the spirit of the land. And it's part of our teachings as the 7 grandfathers' teachings to about respecting our elders and ancestors from the past. So we use the feasting, the spirit plate, to feed them. And other times there's feasts for if you have traditional things like hand drums and rattles, bustles, bands, things that you use traditionally from a spiritual point of view. You can smudge them and you can offer food to appease or to feed the spirits, and so that they look up at us in a good way as we go through the year. And I try to teach our young people and people to remember that we have 13 moons, our seasons, our moons, not just reliant on the Gregorian European calendar and of events and all that. That we had a way that was valid and good for thousands of years. And in this area of Northern Ontario, we've been around 13,000 years, give or take 2,000 years. So this is why we do the spirit plate feasting of things. And the other opposite of feasting is fasting. And I won't do that with young people unless they're adolescent age, where they encourage them to go from sunrise to sunset without eating or drinking, and it tests their body and their metabolism a little bit so that they can get ready to do a sunrise to sunrise fast, which is 24 hours roughly. And then if you can do 1 day, you do 2 days and up to 4 days to get your spirit name and things like this from the spirit world. So we're very much traditionally connected to the spirit world and working with it, so not to ignore that. Okay? I'm going to move outside spirit plate and offer this outside in by the trees or on the grass someplace clean. and offer my prayers and acceptance of the spirits of our little offering. And usually the birds will come along and they'll eat it in place of the spirits. Directions, Wabanong Manitou Miigwech Mabijan. And to the south, Shawanong Manitou Miigwech Mabijan. And to the west, Pingishamuk Nawagabanon Miigwech Mabijan. And Tiwitna Miigwech Mabijan. And so we offer that along with the tobacco for the 4 directions. And I'm just going to put it here. The birds will find it. They'll come here and they'll eat it. And usually what I find is when I put tobacco out, they move the tobacco over on the side themselves. They accept the gift and the offering, and then they eat the food. So that's good. And our friend the Chitamu over there, squirrel, the Chitamu, he's already listening and coming out to see what are we doing out here. It's part of nature, having animals around and befriending them. I encourage our people to learn their names, and talk to them, offer them food. But once you offer them food, they'll come back for more. So this is the part of the teachings, offering a spirit plate. I try to encourage people not to get too long-winded about it. Be honest, give to the spirits and the animals, and be thankful and have faith and believe in the spirits will come. So that's the conclusion of our lesson and our session for today about feasting, springtime, and putting out a spirit plate. Okay? Miigwech, miigwech, mamapi, mamapi. Oh.